Talk to her then. $50,000 if you can make my daughter hear you. The words hit the restaurant like a slap. A champagne glass slips from someone's hand and shatters on the marble floor. Kesha Williams freezes mid-step, a tray balanced on her palm. Every head turns toward her, toward the tall black waitress in a simple black apron, standing under golden chandeliers that cost more than her yearly rent. At the center table sits William Blackstone, real estate billionaire, ego polished sharper than his cup. He leans back in his chair, smirking, as if daring the whole world to agree with his cruelty. Beside him sits his 16-year-old daughter Emma, shoulders tucked in, eyes down, hands folded tightly in her lap. William raises his voice even louder. "Come on, sweetheart," he says to his friends. "This one can't even take an order right. Let's see if she can talk to a deaf kid." Laughter ripples around the table, sharp, uncomfortable, hungry. Phones lift. Someone whispers, "This is gonna be good." Kesha's fingers tremble just slightly. She forces them still. "Sir," she says calmly, "please don't use your daughter like a party trick." He scoffs. "Oh, look at that attitude. Must be the apron giving you confidence." He gestures toward Emma without even looking at her. "My kid can't hear a thing. She hasn't heard her own name since the day she was born. And you," he pauses, staring at Kesha like she's dirt on his shoe. "You think you can just walk past my table without giving us a show?" "I'm working," Kesha replies softly. Oh, she's scared. A woman at the table laughs. "Probably can't even read sign language." "She probably can't read anything." Another voice snickers. Kesha steps backward, lowering her gaze, trying to de-escalate. "Sir, I really don't want any trouble. $50,000. William slams his hand on the table, silverware jumping. "1 minute. Make her understand a single word. If you fail, you apologize to everyone here for wasting our time." A hush falls over the room. Not silent charge. Emma signs something small and shaky to her father. He doesn't bother looking. He waves her hand away like a fly. Kesha sees it, Tim's tiny flinch, the way her fingers fold back into her sleeve in embarrassment. A pain flashes across the girl's eyes, and in that moment Kesha's expression shifts. Just barely, but enough. One guest whispers, "She's thinking about it." Another murmurs, "No way." She tries. She'll humiliate herself. Kesha inhales slowly, steadying her breath. Then she places her tray down on an empty table. The metal hits the surface with a soft final click that echoes louder than any shout. She walks toward Emma. Phones rise higher. William chuckles. "A tagger. Let's see what the waitress can do." Emma looks up, nervous, hopeful, confused. Kesha kneels, so their eyes meet. The room leans in for a moment. Nothing happens. Then Kesha lifts her hands. One smooth, graceful motion. She signs, "Are you okay?" Emma's face cracks open with shock. Her breath catches. Her eyes fill. She signs back fast, emotional, desperate, and Kesha understands every word. The restaurant is silent. William's smile begins to fade. What is she doing?" Kesha stands slowly, turning to face him. Her voice is calm, steady, unshaken. "Your daughter," she says, "wants to tell you something." The entire room holds its breath. "Don't play dumb now," William sneers. "You stepped up. Now earn your paycheck, waitress." His voice booms across the restaurant, dripping with a kind of confidence only money can buy. Kesha stands beside Emma, hand still, composure tight but holding. She can feel every set of eyes on her, hungry, curious, cruel. The kind of crowd that doesn't want justice, just entertainment. A man at the Billionaire's table chuckles. "Come on, Will." She's stalling. Probably doesn't even know what she just did. Another snorts. She waved her hands a little. "That's not sign language, that's panic." Kesha stays quiet. Silence becomes her shield. William leans back in his chair, smirking like he already won. "Let's make this more interesting." He taps the table with 2 fingers. "If you're scared, just say so. We'll find someone else to embarrass." Kesha's jaw tightens, but she still keeps her eyes soft. "I'm not here to be part of a game." "Oh, but you are." He laughs. "Everything in this room is my game. Even her." He jerks his thumb toward his daughter. Emma flinches, gasps, scatter through the crowd, but William ignores them, raising his voice. "1 minute. Make her understand a single word. You fail. You apologize to everyone here and admit you wasted our time." A woman at the table leans toward another and whispers loudly, "She won't do it. She's too scared." A man chimes in, "Or too uneducated." Someone else laughs. "If she knew sign language, she wouldn't be wiping tables." The words sting, but Kesha doesn't show it. She stands still, breathing slow, steady, calm, genius hiding beneath an apron. Emma looks up at her again, eyes flicking nervously between her father and the woman kneeling beside her. There's a silent plea in her expression. A fear of being used, exposed, misunderstood. Kesha lowers her gaze toward Emma, giving her the smallest, gentlest nod. Emma's shoulders relax just barely. William leans forward suddenly, voice sharp. "What was that? You think you're bonding now? Let's go." "I don't have all night." Kesha steps back, trying one last time to stop this. "Sir, your daughter is a human being, not a trick you perform for your friends." The table erupts in mocking laughter. "Ooh, the waitress has opinions. She thinks she's some kind of therapist. She'll break as soon as she tries to sign something real." Kesha closes her eyes for one brief second. Her fingers are trembling. Her heart is pounding. But her voice, when it comes, is calm. You shouldn't talk about her like that. William's eyes narrow. You don't get to tell me how to talk about my daughter. He stands, towering over Kesha like a challenge. I said 1 minute. Start now. The timer on someone's phone begins ticking loudly. Emma's breathing quickens. Kesha notices. She kneels again, ignoring the cameras, the laughter, the ticking clock. Hey, she whispers gently, meeting Emma's eyes. It's okay. Then Kesha lifts her hands again, but only a tiny motion, too subtle for most of the crowd to notice. She signs a single question. Emma responds instantly. A soft burst of emotion crossing her face, but the crowd misses it. Blinded by pride and arrogance, William folds his arms triumphantly. She's got nothing. Phones record. People laugh. The humiliation tightens around Kesha like a noose, but then Emma reaches out, just a small gesture, barely touching Kesha's sleeve, but enough to drop a hush over the front tables. Kesha rises slowly, her heartbeat stills, her eyes sharpen. She turns toward William, and with a calm that cuts deeper than any shout, she says, "Your daughter just told me something you really need to hear." The entire restaurant leans in, every camera lifts, every whisper stops. Because for the first time tonight, William Blackstone looks afraid. She's lying. That's the first thing William Blackstone blurts out, loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear. My daughter didn't say anything. She can't talk to you. She can't talk to anyone. But Emma's eyes tell a different story, wide, wet, hopeful, and Kesha sees the truth. William refuses to face. The room leans forward as Kesha kneels again, gently lifting her hands. No shaking now, no hesitation, just calm, precise motion. And then she signs, not clumsy, not guessed, not basic. Fluent. Emma gasps. Her hand flies to her mouth. Then she bursts into rapid signing, her fingers moving so fast the crowd can't even follow the shapes. Relief and excitement pour from every movement. Kesha follows easily, her hands dancing in return. Every gesture fluid and perfectly placed. It looks less like communication and more like a shared rhythm to people finally speaking in a language the world never bothered to learn. A whisper cuts through the stunned silence. Wait, she's fluent. Another voice. She didn't even pause. How is she this good? Phones lower. Pride fades. AW takes over. People aren't laughing anymore. They're witnessing something fragile and rare. Emma signs again. Slower this time. Her eyes shine with a question, a fear. Kesha's expression softens. She signs back gentle reassurance. William steps forward, rattled. No, this is ridiculous. She's pretending. You must stop it. Emma jerks away from him, clutching her hands protectively to her chest. She signs sharply. Don't touch me. Kesha lifts her head. Her voice cracks the silence. She asked if she's allowed to tell you how she really feels. The crowd goes dead still. William's confident mask slips just a little. Don't play games with me. But Kesha's calm doesn't break. Her eyes hold his like steel. She told me, Kesha says softly, that she thinks you're ashamed of her. A wave of gasps rolls across the dining room. William's face goes red. I never said that. Kesha doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. She said you don't speak to her at home. You talk about her, not to her. You treat her like a burden. Emma signs again, faster, tears spilling now. Kesha translates every word with quiet precision. She says, she doesn't feel safe telling you anything, because you only see her when there are people watching, because you use her to look like a good father. William staggers back as if punched. His friends stare at him, their laughter gone. Emma signs more, her hands trembling. Kesha swallows hard and continues. She says she's tired of pretending she's okay with how you treat her. She says she wishes you would just listen. Silence crushes the room. A waiter in the corner wipes a tear. Someone whispers, poor kid. Another murmurs, how long has this been happening? William points at Kesha, voice cracking with anger. Stop this. You're manipulating her. Kesha signs something short to Emma and nods immediately, confirming it. The billionaire freezes. Kesha stands slowly, her posture calm and unshaken. You asked me to talk to her, she says. I did. Now she's talking back. William's voice drops into a trembling snarl. Who do you think you are? Kesha steps forward, not arrogant, not smug, but steady, with the kind of confidence that comes from truth, not power. You have no idea who you're talking to. The crowd stares, breathless, sensing something shifting beneath the surface, something much bigger than a waitress and a billionaire. Kesha's expression hardens ever so slightly. And tonight, she says quietly, you're going to find out. The room explodes in whispers. Because suddenly, for the first time since he walked in, William Blackstone isn't in control. Translated, right now. William's voice cracks like a whip, sharp enough to make nearby guests flinch. Kesha doesn't move. She just looks at him steady. Unshaken. Emma sits between them, breath trembling, hands balled into fists. The quiet in the restaurant turns electric, like everyone can feel the truth closing in. You want to know what she said? Kesha asks softly. No more games, William snaps. Say it. The crowd leans in. Even the waitstaff freeze mid-step. Kesha turns to Emma. Only if you're okay with it, she signs gently. Emma hesitates. then nods. Keisha rises slowly and faces the billionaire. She said she thinks you're ashamed of her. Gasps explode across the room. A fork drops. Someone whispers, "Oh my God." William's face reddens instantly. "That's a lie," Kesha continues anyway, her voice quiet but sharp enough to cut through his denial. "She said you avoid looking at her in public. You talk over her. You refuse to learn her language. You treat her deafness as something she should hide." Emma signs again, faster, more emotional. Tears run down her cheeks. Kesha translates every word. She says she feels invisible in her own home. She says you only bring her out when it makes you look like a caring father. She says she doesn't trust you. The billionaire stumbles back into his chair, breath catching. "She wouldn't say that," he mutters. "She's just a kid. She doesn't know what she's talking about." Emma slams her hands onto the table, heart startling half the room. She signs furiously, shoulders shaking, face red. Kesha nods along with her movements, then speaks through the hush. She says she is tired of pretending. She's tired of being your trophy. She's tired of being alone. A woman nearby covers her mouth. A man mutters, "This is heartbreaking." William stands abruptly. "Enough. She can't talk to you like that. She doesn't even know you." Kesha's tone stays soft, but her eyes sharpen. "Maybe if you ever listened to her, she wouldn't have to tell a stranger." The billionaire freezes mid-sentence as if someone finally pulled the mask off his face. He stares at Emma, genuinely looking at her for the first time, but she turns her face away, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. A deep, heavy silence fills the dining room. Then William tries to recover his authority, voice shaking with anger. "This is manipulation. She's tricking you, Emma. She has no right to." Emma signs something short and fierce, her movements sharp like lightning. Kesha doesn't soften it. She says, "Stop talking over me." A few guests gasp out loud. Someone whispers, "She's standing up to him." William's voice falters, "Emma, sweetheart." But the girl won't even look at him. Kesha steps between them, not aggressively, just firmly, like a shield Emma never had. "I told you," she says quietly. "You have no idea who you're talking to." William's eyes narrow. "Who are you then?" Kesha lets the tension hang for a breath, then she leans in, just enough for him to feel the shift of power. "Someone you should have never underestimated." The billionaire, recognizing something dangerous in her calm. The guests watch with held breath. Because the waitress everyone mocked is no longer acting like a waitress, and everyone can feel that whatever comes next is bigger than a bet, bigger than sign language, bigger than this room. Kesha steps back, her voice low and unshakable. Now the real conversation begins. "You're a waitress. That's it." William spits the words like he's trying to lock the world back in place. "You don't get to challenge me. You don't get to stand there and act superior." But something in his voice, thin, shaky, tells the room he already knows the truth. She is superior, and he's terrified to find out why. Kesha doesn't answer him, not yet. She turns to Emma, signing something soft, something grounding. Emma nods, wiping her cheeks, steadying her breath. Only then does Kesha straighten and face the billionaire again. "You keep assuming you know who I am." Her tone is calm, almost gentle, but everything you've said tonight tells me you never learned how to look past a uniform. William scoffs loudly, clinging to the last scraps of control. "Don't lecture me. You're a server in my restaurant." "It's not your restaurant," Kesha replies. "You don't own it." He freezes, caught in a lie everyone already suspected. A few guests whisper, "Is he serious? Does he really think he owns the staff?" This is embarrassing. William lifts a hand to silence them, but they're no longer listening to him. They're watching her. Kesha continues, voice steady as a heartbeat. "I didn't come here to impress you. I didn't come here to win a bet. I came here because people like you hide behind money, power, and cruelty, and someone needed to see it up close." William laughs, but the sound comes out wrong, too high, too forced. "You talk big. For a woman carrying plates." Kesha finally steps closer, just enough to make him back up without realizing he's doing it. "Do you know what I actually carry?" she asks. He swallows. "What?" "Cases." A ripple spreads across the room, slow building. Electric. Kesha's eyes lock onto his. "Civil rights cases, disability justice cases, housing discrimination cases. I carry stories of people who've been silenced and ignored by men who look just like you." William stammers. What are you saying?" Kesha lets the truth drop like a stone into deep water. "I'm an attorney. Mr. Blackstone. Harvard Law, class of 2019. The room erupts. "What? Harvard? No way. She's been working here this whole time." "Is she undercover?" William's jaw hangs open, eyes wide, shoulders slowly collapsing inward. But Kesha isn't bragging. Her voice stays quiet. "Almost tired. I took this job because the Golden Crown has a pattern, one I needed to document from the inside. Wage theft, harassment, forced double shifts, illegal firings. And you..." She pauses, letting the weight settle. "You are the reason those patterns exist." William's breathing grows shallow. "You can't prove anything." "Yes, she can." The voice comes from the back, deep, commanding, unmistakably authoritative. Every head snaps toward the entrance. Dr. Marcus Jefferson, one of the most respected civil rights litigators in the country, steps through the doorway, removing his scarf. eyes locked on William like he already knows the verdict. Behind him walks FBI agent Margaret Thornfield, badge visible, expression unreadable. The crowd parts instinctively. Marcus nods politely to Kesha. Evening. I believe it's time. Kesha crosses her arms. He wants to know who I am. Marcus smiles, sharp as a blade. Then let's show him. Emma watches with her mouth open. Finally, seeing an adult stand up to her father, William stumbles backward, panic finally settling into his eyes. Kesha steps forward, her voice low, dangerous, and beautifully calm. You should have stopped while this was just a bet. She lifts her phone, and not a full investigation. The room explodes with whispers, because now it's clear. The waitress wasn't the underdog, she was the trap, and William Blackstone just walked straight into it. You recorded me. That's the first thing William Blackstone screams, voice cracking loud enough to shake the crystal glasses on the table. Kesha doesn't flinch. She simply tilts her phone toward the light screen glowing. Evidence stacked like bricks in a wall he can't climb. Yes, she answers calmly. Every word you said to your staff, every illegal order, every threat, all of it. The room explodes and whispers, oh my God, is this real? He's done. William's face drains to a sick, gray color. You can't use that. This is entrapment. Dr. Marcus Jefferson steps forward, adjusting his glasses. No, Mr. Blackstone. This is called documentation, something you should have worried about before violating half the labor laws in this state. A few guests clap under their breath. Agent Thornfield opens a heavy, filled with receipts that look ready to bury a career. We've got employee statements, payroll inconsistencies, emails, surveillance footage, dual books, you name it. William shakes his head violently. This is my restaurant. This is my name. You can't walk in here. And Kesha cuts him off with 5 words that slice the air clean in half. It hasn't been your restaurant for a long time. The crowd gasps. Ksha continues, voice steady. Your investors have been leaking documents for months. Your business partners don't trust you. They came to us because they knew you'd try to pin everything on them when this blew up. Marcus leans in, smiling coldly. And it's blowing up tonight. Emma signs something rapidly, fearful, confused. Her hands shake so badly she can barely form the shapes. Kesha kneels beside her again. She signs, you're safe. This isn't your fault. Emma nods, tears spilling again. But this time it's relief, not fear. William slams his hand on the table. Emma, stop listening to her. She's manipulating you. But the girl signs back, sharp and furious, so angry her fingers blur. Kesha translates without softening a single word. She says, I'm listening to the only adult who has ever listened to me. The entire restaurant breaks into shocked murmurs. William stumbles backward like the words hit him across the face. I've given you everything. No, Kesha says, rising. You gave her silence. Agent Thornfield steps closer, her voice crisped. Mr. Blackstone, we're placing you under temporary detainment for questioning. We advise you not to make this any harder. Questioning. William sputters. You don't understand. I have money. Connections. Marcus cuts in sharply. And we have proof. Do you recognize this? He holds up an audio clip. The restaurant speakers catch it just loud enough for the front tables to hear. William's voice, clear as day. Clear as guilt. Fire the black staff first. They're replaceable. A woman gasps. A man mutters, Jesus Christ. Emma covers her face in shame. William lunges. Turn that off. Turn it off. Agent Thornfield steps between them. Touch either of them, and you'll be arrested on the spot. Kesha's voice drops to a razor-soft whisper. You tried to humiliate me to boost your ego. She steps closer. And all you did was give me the perfect stage. The entire restaurant goes silent. Servers quietly step out from the kitchen, dozens of them watching their abuser crumble for the first time. William points at them wildly. You're all ungrateful. I gave you jobs. A cook shouts back. You gave us misery. A dishwasher adds, and no overtime pay. A hostess and threats every time someone complained. Emma signs against low, powerful, heartbreaking. Ksha translates. She says, please stop hurting people. William turns pale. His mouth opens, but no sound comes out. For the first time in his life, the billionaire is speechless. Kesha steps forward, finalizing the shift of power. You wanted a show, Mr. Blackstone. She gestures around the room. Here it is, and everyone is watching. Agent Thornfield pulls out the cuffs, not locking them, just showing them, letting the threat hang. William collapses into his chair, shaking. But the chapter doesn't end with him. It ends with Emma finally lifting her head, finally breathing, finally signing one last message. Kesha watches her hands, then says out loud, she says, thank you. The whole restaurant goes still because everyone knows this is only the beginning. He lost everything in 24 hours. That's the headline glowing on every phone in the restaurant the next morning, and every person who was there, the servers, the guests, even the kitchen staff, knows exactly when it all began. Right there, in front of a deaf girl who finally spoke without sound. But the story isn't about William Blackstone's fall. It's about the woman who refused to stay silent. Kesha stands outside the Golden Crown as the sun rises, her apron folded over her arm for the very last time. Reporters crowd the sidewalk, cameras flash, microphones stretch in her direction. Is it true you worked undercover for 5 years? Are the FBI charging Blackstone today? Did you really speak to his daughter in sign language? Kesha gives no answers. She just walks through the doors she once entered as the invisible. Help now as the woman whose truth burned a corrupt empire to the ground. Inside, the staff watches her with a mix of awe and gratitude. A dishwasher wipes his eyes. A hostess mouths, "Thank you." A line cook gives her a trembling thumbs dash up. But the moment that matters most isn't from them, it's from Emma. She runs across the lobby, stopping inches from Kesha. Her hands fly into motion fast, emotional, overflowing. Kesha signs back, smiling softly. Emma's final sign comes slowly, carefully. "Don't leave me alone with them." Kesha kneels. "You're not alone anymore." Marcus Jefferson steps in from behind, placing a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. "Your father is under federal investigation," he assures her. "You'll be staying with your aunt. She's already on her way." Agent Thornfield nods. "We'll make sure you're protected." Emma exhales in relief. Kesha rises, turning to Marcus. "Is it done?" He gives a low whistle. "Kesha, it's more than done. The DOJ is opening a full case. The labor board is filing suits. His investors are pulling out, and the city revoked 3 of his permits overnight." Agent Thornfield adds, "Your recordings cracked open every closed door." Kesha's eyes lower. "I didn't do it for headlines." "I know," Marcus says. "You did it for justice." Before she can respond, a reporter outside shouts, "Breaking news. Blackstone Enterprises files for bankruptcy." The entire restaurant stops to listen. A tidal wave of emotion washes over the staff. Shock, relief, disbelief. Some whisper prayers, some hug each other, some simply stand still, absorbing the fact that the man who controlled their lives with fear has no power left. Across the street, people gather, cheering, holding signs that read, "Justice for workers, believe black women, voices matter." Kesha watches quietly, hands clasped, then Emma reaches for her hesitant, Cheyenne signs. "People like you change the world." Kesha's breath catches, her voice wavers. "People like us do." A rumble passes through the crowd outside as news vans pour in. Social media erupts with clips of the confrontation, the translation, the recording, everything, editing, remixing, posting. The world is watching the moment a billionaire's cruelty met its match. But the biggest surprise comes when Marcus steps onto a chair and calls out, "Everyone, listen up." The room goes silent. He points at Kesha. "She's joining Jefferson and Associates as our newest civil rights attorney. Full benefits, full salary, full authority." The staff erupts into applause. Emma signs wildly, cheering in silence. Kesha just smiles, small, honest, grateful. Marcus leans in and whispers, "You're not undercover anymore. Now you're unstoppable." Outside, the crowd chants her name as if she's a hero. Inside, William Blackstone's empire collapses like wet paper, and in the middle of it all stands a black waitress, no, a black lawyer. A black woman with a voice so powerful it didn't need volume to shake an entire city. This isn't the end of her story. It's the beginning of her rise. "They're calling your case the Blackstone Standard." That's the first thing Marcus tells her as they step into the packed auditorium 3 months later. A new federal model for workplace dignity. Kesha doesn't answer at first because thousands of people are on their feet, cheering her name. Deaf advocates, civil rights groups, students, workers, lawyers, parents, people from every background, holding signs she never imagined seeing. "Justice has a voice. Protect deaf kids. Believe black women." Kesha Williams changed everything, and right in the front row she beams, hands lifted in a bright flurry of signs. "I'm proud of you." Kesha signs back, "I'm proud of you more." Then the applause dies down as the moderator announces, "Tonight we honor the woman who exposed corruption, protected a child, and reshaped national policy. Please welcome Attorney Kesha Williams." The spotlight lands on her. Her breath catches not from nerves, but from knowing what this moment means. She walks to the podium with the same calm, measured steps she once used, carrying trays between tables, but now every step echoes like history being written. She begins simply, "I used to stand in silence. Now I get to stand in truth." The crowd leans in. Phones rise. Emma watches with glowing eyes. Kesha continues, voice steady, warm, but sharp enough to cut through decades of injustice. "For 5 years, I watched people like me, black workers, disabled workers, immigrant workers, get treated like they were disposable. I saw deaf children hidden at dinner tables so parents wouldn't feel judged. I saw billionaires use power like a weapon. I saw people with no voice get crushed by people with too much." She pauses, and I realized silence wasn't protecting us. It was protecting them. A few gasps, a few murmurs. Everyone listening. I didn't take down an empire. I just told the truth loud enough that no one could ignore it anymore. And I want you to understand this. Every one of you, your truth is not too small. Your pain is not invisible. Your voice, especially when the world tries to deny it, is powerful enough to move laws, move people, and move nations. Emma signs something from her seat. Kesha reads it with a soft smile. Then she translates aloud. She says, "My voice isn't broken. You taught me that. The room erupts into applause again, louder this time, fuller, shaking the walls. Kesha raises her hand gently for quiet, and she's right. Nobody's voice is broken. Some of us just haven't been listened to yet. Marcus watches proudly from the side. Agent Thornfield nods, arms crossed, satisfied. Families hold their kids closer. Young activists wipe tears. Kesha's tone deepens. So today, we start something new. A system built not on fear, not on power, not on silence. She rests a hand on the podium, but on dignity. The crowd stands all at once. Thunderous, roaring, alive, Kesha steps back, humbled. Emma joins her on stage, gripping her hand tightly. Cameras flash, people cheer. ASL interpreters at both sides of the room move with synchronized grace. A world once built on prejudice is now building itself around truth. A billionaire tried to humiliate a black waitress. Instead, he sparked a revolution. As Kesha and Emma stand side by side, one speaking out loud, one speaking with her hands, they look out at a room full of people who finally understand. A voice doesn't need sound to change everything. And together, they walk forward into a new world they just helped create.